Welcome back to the channel. By the way, if you guys like my videos, if you're like, I need more of this, make sure that you are subscribing so that you get notified anytime I post something new. Make sure that you are commenting below to let me know what is helpful, what you want to learn more about, because I love to create content for topics that you guys are like, please give me more of this. Okay. And make sure that you're sharing it with a friend that you know that can really benefit from having this information. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I am really enjoying learning about and how I see it showing up in so many of my clients and what you can kind of do to make sure that you're not trapping yourselves in some of these same ways and some of these same cycles that you are finding yourself in. So, today we are talking about unconscious commitments. And recently, I went through what was called a mental and emotional release, and I did that for my driving and my flying anxiety. I have always had a fear of flying. Don't know why. And it turns out that it actually wasn't my own fear. It was something that I absorbed from a different family member. And then in late 2017, out of nowhere, I hated driving on like big highways and overpasses. I had already been driving 10 years at that point, and then my body was like, actually, we don't want to do this anymore. And I was like, what? But I got world stages to speak on. I got places to go. I got people to see. I cannot afford to be afraid. So I did what was called a mental and emotional release in order to get rid of these feelings of fear. And I read the book ahead of time before I committed to the release, and they talked about unconscious commitments. So the first thing I want you to understand is that you have one of the most powerful systems in the entire universe, and you are not using it to its highest potential or to work in your favor. And that system is your subconscious/unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind is responsible for all of your habits and all of your beliefs, okay? And a lot of these habits and beliefs were built and ingrained in you before you even turned 7 years old. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that insane? Before you turn seven, everything that you believe about yourself, everything that you know to be true about yourself, you learned before you turned 7 years old. That is absolutely incredible. Okay. So, what is an unconscious commitment? An unconscious commitment is a deal that you make with yourself. It's like a handshake with your hand. I'm holding my mic. Hold on a second. It's like a blah. I don't want my mic to drop. It's like a it's a handshake, okay, that you make with yourself that can influence your actions and your decisions without your actual awareness. You're like, wait a second, how can I make a deal with myself and not be aware? That's what the unconscious mind is, baby. And that's where most of your thought processes and beliefs come from, okay? They are very powerful. They are extremely subtle, okay? And they can be the reason why you feel so stuck and you're really unable to follow through on anything that you said it is that you want to do. Unconscious commitments can be the reason why you have said you've wanted to do things for years, but you can't seem to do it. And then you beat yourself up about it because you're like, why can't I just commit to doing this one thing? Why can't I just be this person that I say that I want to be? What is wrong with me? Why can't I just do the thing? Have you ever felt like that? Okay. And that's because somewhere along the way, you made an unconscious commitment to yourself to not do the thing that consciously you want to do. Okay. So today I want to talk to you about three different ways that you have made an unconscious commitment to yourself, where they show up as, and how to deal with it, baby. Because I don't just talk to you about problems, okay? We don't just do problems around here, we do solutions. All right. So let's talk about the first way that an unconscious commitment shows up in your life. You might have said something like, I'll stay small or I'll stay quiet so that I don't look stupid. And that is a really harsh commitment to yourself. And it's like, you might say, oh, well, I want to be a public speaker. I want to go all of these places and talk on all these stages. But your underlying unconscious commitment to yourself is that you have to stay small because you don't want to be called stupid. Okay. And you probably formed this belief the first time you tried to say something, or the second time you tried to say something as a child, and your parent or your guardian or a loved one shut you down and told you you needed to stop talking because what you were saying didn't make any sense. And that really sucks. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Because as kids, we all be blabbering. My kids be blabbering now, and I'm like, what the fuck is they on about? But I do my absolute stinking best to be like, wow, that was incredible what you said. Thank you for sharing that with me. Because I don't want them to feel small or stupid, or for them to make an unconscious commitment to themselves that they're not going to speak their mind. Okay. So if you've ever just been like, I really want to do this thing, I really want to speak up, but anytime it comes time to speak up, you're like, I can't do it. I can't do it. That's that unconscious commitment coming up to the level of your conscious mind. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, another unconscious commitment you might be making with yourself is you're trying to control everything around you. Okay. And this shows up especially true when you own a business. People want to start a business and they think that they have all of this control, when in fact, you have to release a lot of control in order for your business to grow. Because, babe, you cannot do everything. You cannot do everything. Even if you are a solopreneur, you still have to surrender control to things like automations, to having a good amount of software, to having a nice tech stack so that you don't have to manually do everything. But the unconscious commitment that you made to yourself was that you have to control everything in order to feel safe, because somehow things felt outside of your control and you didn't feel safety somewhere in your childhood. Now, a very large portion of my current clients are eldest daughters, and eldest daughters in particular, feel the need to control in order to meet the unrealistic expectations put on them by their parents. And this also shows up in their business. That's part of their trauma that shows up in their business, because they're trying to control everything instead of letting people help them, instead of bringing on a virtual assistant that can do more for them, that can help them move it along, instead of doing things like automations or scheduling things out, just allowing things to be, allowing the universe to guide in whatever way they need to be guided. But again, an unconscious commitment to, I have to control everything. And it's like, I want to release control, but I don't know how. We're going to get to that. Okay. And so the third place that you might have made an unconscious commitment to yourself is in your career choice. You might so desperately want to be artsy. You might so desperately want to just quit that damn 9 to 5. It's not doing anything for you anymore. But because of what your parents said about how you have to go to college and how you have to get a good and stable job and work for the same company for 40 years and so you can get your social security, which is running out anyway. That's stable. That's what you have to provide for your family, even if you don't want a family. That stuck with you. So you have made an unconscious commitment to stay loyal to a job that probably doesn't even treat you very well, instead of following that dream that you can taste, feel, and touch. You can almost touch it, reach out and touch it. And that's because a version of you on a different timeline has what it is that you want. And they had the gumption to go after what it is that they want, or they healed that unconscious commitment to themselves and they decided to do what their soul was calling them to do. And I don't know about you, but I ain't come here to just wake up, pay bills, and die. I'm here for such a bigger purpose and a reason than that. And so are you. And so are you. But it's like, I want to start the business, but I don't want to feel unsafe. You never felt unsafe. Somebody else felt unsafe and projected that onto you, and you absorbed it. And the one thing that you have to understand about unconscious commitments and most of your beliefs and habits is most of them aren't even yours. You borrowed that from somebody else who believed that and was like, I'm just going to trauma throw up all over you my experiences. But their experiences are not your own, and you shouldn't allow them to dictate to you what you get to have. I say over and over and over again, never take advice from the journey from people who never left home. Stop letting people with small imaginations dictate how big you get to be, because you are so much bigger, so much bolder, so much better than that. Okay. But on your conscious level of your mind, you're like, I want to let this go. But your unconscious level is like, no. You ever seen that meme of the raccoon with the trash? And it's like, leave my trash alone. Your unconscious mind is like, leave my trash alone, because your unconscious mind believes that it is keeping you safe. It believes that this is what is necessary to keep you safe and to keep you alive. But you don't want to just stay alive. You want to thrive. You want to live. So you have to teach your subconscious mind and your unconscious mind how to be safe, making the decisions that you actually want to make. How do you do that? Let's talk about it. You could do something like mental and emotional release, like I have done. You can do things like somatic breath work, which is just focusing on your breathing. It's about a 45 to 60-minute practice where you connect with your unconscious mind, and it comes and brings to your conscious awareness what you've been holding on to, and you release it. You can do practices like hypnosis, that focuses on self-love, focuses on safety. They can be tailored to whatever your specific need is. So once I did the mental and emotional release session that was over 2 days, then I had a 21-day hypnosis that I did every day after that, in order to still cement it in my subconscious mind. And let me tell you something like this. These are commitments that you have literally had with yourself for decades, 30 plus years. You've had these commitments with yourself. And these techniques work somewhere between minutes and months. Okay. It's so fast. You might be like, wow, I didn't even think this was possible to get over something like this. Or all of a sudden, one day you're like, I'm actually not afraid to start the business anymore. And you just do it. One day you're like, you know what? I need help. And you just hire somebody. And you're like, wow, that was super easy. One day you raise your hand in the meeting and you're like, no, that's dumb. I don't want to do that anymore. And people are like, oh, where did they get the audacity? And you're like, oh, where did I get the audacity? Because now your unconscious mind knows that it's safe doing what it is that you've retrained it to do. And we involve every single one of these practices inside of my program, The Ruthless Pursuit of Self Mastermind, because you cannot start a business with all of this. You can, but it's going to be hella hard for yourself and for all the people that you want to work with. The work that I do helps you create the foundation for a 7-figure business, because I've seen too many people build their businesses on a shaky foundation, and then it all comes crumbling down because they were people pleasing. They were trying so hard to get people to see them. They had low prices, they had disrespectful clients, and then they lost the love for their business because they built it on such a shaky foundation. And even if you don't want to start a business and you just want to have a 7-figure lifestyle, you have to build a foundation for that too. People who have 7 figures aren't worrying about, what will they say? Okay, but they still get to the bag. They say what it is that they need to say and they move on. They're here to blaze their own trail. And so are you. So are you. But you've got to first believe that you're worthy of changing that. And you have to do the subconscious work and the reprogramming of that part of your mind in order to actually take action. Because beating yourself up for not being that person is not radical self-love. That is not self-acceptance. I hate people who are like, oh, I just need to be more disciplined. No, you don't. No, you don't. Discipline is not your problem. Your body needs to feel safe. Your mind needs to feel safe, and it doesn't feel safe for whatever reason or wherever place it is right now. So let's just make it feel safe. It's so easy. Okay. Your life, your mission, your purpose is so much bigger than you're allowing it to be because of these unconscious commitments that you made to yourself. It is not your fault that you have these, but it is your responsibility to take bold and fast action to change them so that you can show up the way that you want to show up, so that you can be the person that you really want to be, so that you can wield your personal power and create your wealth in the way that you know that you're meant to. And we do that with my work. So if you're like, hell yeah, sign me up Fix me, boo. I want you to check out the links that I have in my channel. And I want you to connect with me and be like, how do I get inside of your world? Because this is going to be really important for you as you grow as a human. Okay. So let me know which one of these below sticks the most with you. Is it staying quiet? Is it, having to control or needing to control everything? Or is it, I can't seem to get out from under the career path that I don't even want anymore? And always let me know what suggestions you want, what questions you have, and how I can help support you further with my content. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel, sharing this with anybody who needs to see it, and I'll catch you on the next one. Laters!